Hollow, TSS, the squad, and I'm back. Yeah, so my bad for the brief hiatus. Been gone for a little bit. I had a few things I had to handle, take care of, a few life changes. Just getting myself together. Lots happened though. First, we'll start off with kind of got rid of all the RC trucks and stuff. Little pause from that. Not sure whether or not if I'm going to get back into it or not. But it just seemed, I don't know. They were sitting more than they were getting used. So figured send them off to a new home, let somebody else use them that actually appreciate them instead of just having them sitting on the shelf. Project EG, I saw that a while ago. Didn't really want to, but it just seemed like the right thing to do. The price offered was definitely needed, I guess you would say. Not working in the shop anymore. I'm actually building decks. It's kind of fun. It's different. Money's good. Work with some chill individuals. It's pretty much a chill vibe day, all day, good music, lots of learning. And that's one thing I like to do is learn. I like learning new stuff, so like right up my alley. I had a '05 EP3 that I was building. Then I don't know, I got offered something that was a little more up my alley. Plus, I was getting a little pricey paying to insurance notes for a truck and a car, especially since I drive my truck more. It just felt like it's disrespectful to just let the car just sit there in the parking spot and rot when it was a decent car. But it was nice. I had a JDM head. It was lowered. I can't remember what was on there, the shocks that were on there as of when it was driving, but I had forming functions in the trunk that I was going to put on it. JDM rear seat, Mugen window, rain guards and stuff like that. It was a nice little car, touchscreen. It was fun, but I got something a little bit better, and I actually used that a lot more than having the car sitting in the parking spot. Here we have the '05 TRX 400X. What we got here is my '05 Honda 400EX. I've had quite a few of them in my time. This is actually my first in the 2000 era. This would be considered, I guess, a Gen 2. Because I think in '07 they changed their plastics again. Pretty much the same damn quad though. Um, Small differences. I think in '07 they use a different front gear, and '99 through 2004 uses its a different front gear as well. I'm not too sure. I've had a dozen of them. This is the first one I've had that was actually stock, so get to go along the build process of getting it back to where I like to ride my 400EXs. And shakedown run, just rode it for a good 20 minutes straight. Um, Soft throttles, medium throttles, full rips, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, reverse, all of that. So far, so good. Got a little bit of a list going that I need to take care of. Alright, so when I first got it, it was sitting in a storage, probably, I don't know, sake of easy argument, we'll just say since last winter, probably like a year, maybe a year and a half, a little longer, who knows, but it sat in the storage bin. All four tires were all the way down flat, 0 PSI. The rear tires were known to not hold air, so he wasn't sure if it was because of the valve stems or maybe there was a hole somewhere in the tire. It resealed the beads, he said, with bead sealer, and it was still leaking, couldn't find any bubbles. The valve cover was leaking pretty bad, which is another common thing with the 400EXs since it's an air-cooled engine. Valve cover gaskets eventually go. Clutch adjustment it needed. The carbs were completely just gunked up from just sitting, so it didn't want to fire, and it needed a new battery. It needed brakes. That was just as of the day I got it. Put air in the tires, made sure it rolled, got it up on the truck, brought it home. Couple days loading up on parts basically. I got the valve cover gasket from Montgomeryville Cycle up in Hatfield. Oh, it didn't have grips. The grips that were on there were pretty beat. They were like sun melted. So anytime you touched them, you had pieces of grip on your hand. Ended up getting some pro tapers, which unfortunately are too damn small. They're set for a motorcycle. One side 7/8, the other side's an inch. Guess that goes over the throttle mechanism or whatever. Amazon got me again. Next time I'll read the fine print. But as of right now, they're better than nothing. Yeah, that was as in the first few days. So as of right now, I put a new valve cover gasket in there. Cleaned the carb completely. I actually broke the rear beads off. Just completely broke the tires off the rims. Cleaned them up a little bit and then resealed them with a different bead sealer, and they're holding pretty good. I ended up finding where they were leaking from, so I marked the areas. When I went to a buddy's shop, pretty much went right to those areas, gunked them up pretty strong, and went around the whole bead itself. They're holding pretty good, actually. They're relatively decent tires. They're still got like good 80% tread on them. It's kind of odd that they were flat, but then it leads me to the conclusion that since it sat for a while, that maybe since it went flat from sitting, that the bead just got a little flat spot in it, so it just needed some persuasion, and I did some persuasion, and now they're good. The brakes, like I said before, completely gone. I replaced all three sets, front and rear. So now we got brakes all the way, fresh oil filter. I didn't adjust the clutch because I think what he was mixing up with, thinking that the clutch needed to be adjusted, was 400EXs, the newer models, I guess from '05 on up, they tend to not like to start in gear. So, I mean, that's a quick, easy fix, there's a mod that people do. They splice the couple wires together or whatever. But for now, I'll just get used to putting it in neutral. It fires up every time. Oh, and also cut the resonator, spark arrestor off. I don't know. No real performance gain on that. It's more simply aesthetic. Sounds good versus a really, really stock four-stroke machine. They sound like lawnmowers. But yeah, gave it a good wash. Brought it over to my aunt's property to give it a shakedown, see if I missed anything, or just basically making sure she's riding good. And so far, so good. I mean, I have a few things I would like to address. The clutch is fine. Brakes are all good, front and rear. Probably put some new light bulbs in there. They're mismatched and they need to be replaced. Probably buff the actual headlight lens itself, clear it back up. I did notice it's still kind of leaking oil a little bit from the valve cover, so when I get home, I'll probably bust it all down again, take all the plastics off, move the tank up, and get a good look and see what's going on. Because I did power wash all of the stuff off, so there might have been a spot that I missed, like up on top of the head or whatever. But I don't know. Just go in, look, make sure I didn't miss bolts or didn't tighten them down enough or whatever. I'd like to have my bikes riding good. I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I gotta fool around with this throttle thingy as well. I feel like I'm pretty restricted. I don't know if it's just something going on inside the clutch or it's the actual mechanism itself, but I feel like I got 80% throttle and I gotta really push a little more to get that extra 20%. I mean, other than that, I like it. It's typical 400EX, one of my favorite sport quads of all time. They're real versatile. They never leave you stranded. Like I said, I've had several, so it's nothing really new to me. I kind of know what to expect, and I don't know. It's just what I wanted. All right, so like I was saying, the grips, definitely not the right size. This one is clearly an inch, and that one over there is a 7/8, so that one fit good. This one I had to do some shoehorning, so what I did was I wrapped some vinyl tape up underneath there. It's got it grip pretty good, she ain't moving nowhere. Figure out what's going on with this here. Like I said, with the throttle, that's all I got, but then I give it a little more push, and I can get the rest. So take a look at that, see what's going on there. Let's see. I definitely need tires, in front at least. I don't really get down with the stock balloons. I mean, they're good for your first 15-20 minutes of riding or getting introduced to the sport, but I've been riding since I was probably like 8 years old, 35 now. I got a lot of years of experience, and those ain't cutting it. You definitely see your strong point when you go to try to dig into a turn and they don't grip. Rear tires are good. I mean, they're 9s and they're 18s. Granted, I prefer a 10-inch rim and a 20-inch tire, so I'll probably stagger that out, get that changed up. Since running the stock gearing 1439, I'm thinking I might step up a gear in the front and step down 3 in the rear maybe. I was thinking of a 1536 gear setup, but not too sure. Figure that out over time. Front wheels are fine. Calibers are good. I mean, they're the single jingles, so naturally I'm gonna do my YFZ 450 swap. Something that I always do as soon as I get them. It's nothing better than a dual piston front caliber setup. clearly been smacked. I mean, that ain't a dead giveaway that somebody ain't know what they was doing. Welded your damn swing arm back together. But, the front bumper is also tweaked. You know, fenders are kind of flimsy, so naturally over time there'll be a new fender and plastic kit and all of that. Any bushings and the swing arms. Definitely need a bushing inside my steering stem there. So I mean it's going to pretty much get a full revamp. All bushings and bearings and all of that. Definitely going to get rid of these pogo sticks. These pogo sticks suck really bad. So they got to go. Probably swap them out for a set of 450Rs. Stock exhaust ain't doing jack squat for me. Like I said before, I cut the spark arrestor off. Gives it a little bit better of a sound, but you know what I mean? You don't really get too much performance, or at least I didn't feel anything different. Like I said, I've had a dozen of them. So probably get an FMF power bomb for the header. Not too sure about the slip-on part. My last one had a Yoshi. The one before that had a Lex. The one before that had a DG. The DG was clearly louder than all three. The Lex was okay. It wasn't that bad. I don't really have any complaints about the Lex, but my Yoshi pipe was clearly my favorite. Definitely gonna get the oversized oil cooler. It has the gussets involved in it. I said definitely get some new Nerfs with heel guards. When I do the swing arms, I'm probably gonna put +2s because I like to ride around 48 to 50 inch wide. That's just me personally. A lot of my trails are set up for anything in that region. But stability is key. I don't want to be too narrow. I'll probably get a +2 rear axle as well. Change out the rear swing, or not rear swing, but the rear grab bar there. Get a new disc rotor. Simple stuff like that for front and rear. It has new pads, so I might as well. Eventually get a new O-ring chain, different case saver. My eventual goal is to be back up to maybe a 440. My last one was a 440. The one I had before that though was a 416 with a stroker kit. So it was, I think, maybe a 426. I'm not too sure. My 440 was the fastest, clearly, because I had the stage 3 hot cam. It had a lot of upper RPM power, but my 426 actually rode the best in the trails. So maybe if I can figure out what I did on those builds and incorporate the best of both worlds from those two and involve it in this one. Definitely the tusk bars are fine for now, no complaints, but probably find something different, a little more suited for me. I mean, my last one had flies. The one before that had, I can't even remember what bars they had. But neither one of them had risers. This one has risers on the handlebar stem. I mean, it feels more comfortable. I don't know, maybe I'll put some more time on it. Maybe I'll get used to these bars. The seat's shot. She needs to just be shot or something. I'm definitely gonna move my key slot and my neutral and reverse light so you can actually see the risers. I kind of like that look, the riser look. Plus it's a little difficult to fool with the key. Like I was saying earlier too, I think I'm leaking somewhere, but I can't really tell from where. I power washed it, and I don't know if that's old stuff just getting viscous again from being hot and leaking down, or maybe it's leaking from somewhere. So I'll go home and break it down and take a gander look at it. Probably end up getting a new carb. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with this one, but it has some key important bolts that are stripped. So like when I go to do my pipe and all of that, it's gonna be pretty difficult to jet it. So I figure if I get a brand new carb, everything will be fine. And just go from there. Definitely gonna change my shifter. It's one of the first few things that I do. I can't remember which one I rocked the last time, but it came out a little bit more, gave me more of a footprint for instead of trying to shift with just my big toe. I felt like it was more of the face of my foot. I was able to shift it. Plastic skid plate guard's gonna go. That naturally I have skid plates all the way around, A-arms, belly pan, and the rear. But like I was saying with the 18s, this is, look at that ground clearance, man. There's like none there. I mean, I'm cool riding on my aunt's property here because it's pretty straightforward. But like when I want to go behind the house, down into the trails and all of that back there, it's gonna be pretty difficult because there's some ruts and rocks and whatnot. You know, typical bull crap. 20-inch, anything 20 and above is like perfect for a trail quad. I mean, no real complaints here though. Like I said, I know what to expect with 400EXs. Had a dozen of them, but this is my first one with the facelift, I guess you would say. Even though my all-time favorite is always going to be the Bug Eye, but I love it. It is what it is. Yeah. So we'll give you a start up on this one. Turn my key. Neutral bang.